So I have this portrait I want to paint again. Yesterday we got through this portrait. If you didn't see it, the live stream is still up. It's kind of rough, and I think I can improve with this next portrait. So we're gonna just push ahead with this. But yeah, I painted yesterday, and I went with a more blocky method or a more like shape method. But today I want to go with back to a kind of line, like linear, kind of just a traditional method of drawing for the underdrawing before we start painting, really. Mostly because I want to have a more accurate drawing than last time. I'm not really too satisfied. Really mostly with the proportions of the last painting. Like as far as the composition goes, I wasn't that happy with how the like overall like how little she takes up of the page or of the canvas. So I want to improve that by drawing it out first. I think I'm going to switch to a smaller brush, just a tad smaller. Okay. I have been using this brush for so long, and it almost pains me to know that I kind of messed it up with acrylic paint. So I'll have to go back and fix this one, but we'll just go a tad smaller with this brush. So yeah, I want to focus on the drawing a little bit more today before we go ahead and like really make anything concrete. I might even do some like rub outs. I might rub the paint out a little bit as we're going. There we go. Just building in the overall shape of the face. There you go. The hair kind of comes across. And then I'm going to just try my best. Well, actually, you know what? We're going to put in his neck first, which kind of comes a little closer, probably. Probably closer to here. And then there we go. It's kind of close. Close enough for right now. Okay. Now what I want to do is plot in some of these facial features quickly, and then we're going to go back and refine it. Looks like there, and maybe there. It's kind of getting some glare. We're getting a little bit of glare. Hopefully that doesn't obstruct you guys from seeing it too bad. Eyes, his nose is pretty much here. Because he has a big mustache. This is one of the reasons I like the reference so much. He has such like a, not even an insult, but like such a cartoonish mustache. Like it's very interesting. So I wanted to do this one. I'm gonna just do that. Okay, this is kind of dark in here. Kind of dark. I'm not really trying to do anything crazy. Hola, 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 hola. I'm not trying to do anything too crazy. I just want to give myself some... I think I messed up with this placement of this eye. Should probably be a little more in. To be fair, I think I'm going to have to adjust a lot of things in the hair as well. So yeah, I'm going to take a wet rag. Just get my rag a little bit wet. And wipe some of this off. Oops. Okay. That actually is really scary. I kind of... Not that I wish I hadn't done it, but... I see an artist that I really respect do that quite a bit, where he just wipes out the whole page. And I think it's pretty brave, so we're gonna do it too. Very brave. I think in truth his head is a little wider than I'm giving it credit for, so we're gonna do a little bit of this. Debuja Almega Caballero de Clash Royale. Art. So I know Debuja's art. Debuja art. Is Al at? Art at a big head. De Caballero. I know Cabello's head, I think. My Spanish is not great, but... Hola. My Spanish is not great, but I've been working on it a little bit. Okay, I just want to tighten some things up as we get a little closer. I do wish I could do an entire painting in like Spanish and walk myself. Maybe that should be my next... Maybe that should be my next sort of like Spanish goal, is to be able to speak myself through a painting. My first kind of goal was to be able to introduce myself, and I can do that a little bit. But maybe I should do that first, just cover the introduction first, and then, let's see. There you go. I should probably work towards being able to introduce myself in Spanish before I really delve into anything else. Okay. Let's draw on his mustache. Let's see, here's his nostril. I'm not really drawing in the features as much as I'm trying to draw in the like placement of everything. So it looks really messy right now. But if you guys stick through for a little bit, you'll see some things start to make sense. And our model has really blue eyes, so I want to get that too. Ellos ojos es muy azul. Was that right? I'm going to take away some of this. Take away some of this inside line. Yeah, his ojos es muy azul. I think that's what I mean. There we go. And off of that, I feel like I'm making him look really square, but he's not. He is kind of square, but not quite as square as I think I'm exaggerating. And then I'm going to start putting in some values here instead of just lines. This will give us a better idea of what needs to change. I'm kind of glazing a bit now. Or not glazing, just like more of a wash than a glaze. But just to move some of these values up and down. There we go. Okay, now we're gonna take a big brush, or a bigger brush. This is the brush we were using earlier. And at the moment, I'm just using burnt sienna. Nothing crazy. Maybe we'll add a little bit of black in here too. Because porque yo quiero I want to make it darker. So then we can really see his head shape and his hair shape. There we go. There we go. I had this reference saved from last night because I figured I wanted to paint this one today. But then for some reason, I was going back and forth with whether or not this is the one I wanted to paint. I kind of wanted to paint another woman just because I had just painted one last night and I feel like that'd be easier to just like follow suit and, paint another woman. But I think it's a cool reference, so I have no issue with painting this guy. Okay, need to adjust this because this is like one of his landmark features is the way his chin is shaped. More like that. And then it comes in there. Oh, that's low. Oops. Hold. There we go. Okay. I think I'm seeing an issue with his eye on the left side, or his left outright. I guess while we're here, we might as well knock in a value for his shirt. Okay. I think the issue with this eye is that I don't know. I think it's too. Maybe it needs to be more like this. And then this one needs to be more like this. Okay. Okay. There we go. His eyebrows aren't really too thick. And I think things will look better once we start adding in his skin tone. So let's actually do that here soon. I got a color the other day. Let me find it. I can't find it. Let me see. Here it is. Here it is. I got a color the other day that is light pink, which is not a color I would usually buy for myself, so I thought it was interesting. Ooh. Yeah, it looks very Patrick Star, very pink. But I think if I mix this with some other colors, it could make a nice skin tone. Which I'm typically a mixer. I don't really like to buy colors straight from the tube. So I'm gonna mix up some colors for his skin. I need a yellow ochre as well. Okay, here we go. This is actually yellow oxide, not yellow ochre, but it'll do. Same, kind of the same thing. Okay, let's mix a skin tone. It kind of has like a couple different shades going on. But most of them are similar, kind of a warm pinky sort of color. Sorry, let's mix this. Just get a pretty good solid base. Not too vibrant, but not too dull. We might even want to add a magenta in here. Thank you guys It says there's 43 people watching. That's kind of a lot. Definitely leave a like. Pretty sure that helps. But yeah, I think just watching helps too. So thank you guys. I'm gonna mix some magenta in here. Yeah, definitely if you can leave a like for sure. It's greatly appreciated. I don't usually get to stream at this time of day on a Monday, but I'm currently out for school until college comes back. Ooh, wow, that's really, yeah, it's a really kind of almost hard to see. A really fair skin tone. I did a pink underpainting, so that leaves me with kind of like, it just makes this skin tone a little harder to see. So I think, so this stage is going to be less about the color and more about the actual like placement of everything and readjusting that kind of stuff. Like his nose needs to be moved down. So we'll move that down. Ooh. Move that down. This eye looks okay, actually. We'll just do some of that. And yeah, just slowly readjust everything. Rarely, I would say never, is a drawing perfect by itself for me. I typically have to go back and fix all kinds of stuff at this stage, and even later down the line. Let's see. There we go. Yeah, we still have a lot to fix, but this is so early. We're so early in the painting, so that's okay. We're so early. We have a lot of stuff to fix. Hi, Shamina. This is just some random guy who has a big mustache. It's from this app called Muse. I think it's still called Muse, or it used to be called Sketchy, but now it's called Muse. But people just submit their photos to be painted or drawn, and it's a plus for me because I don't have to look so far for references, and then they get to enjoy a painting, which is nice. There we go. Okay, so the biggest issues still are the placement of his nose, I believe. Which we can kind of fix here. At this stage, everything is just so messy and like hard to define. And I have a lot of chroma in these colors right now, which by the end of it, I'm sure they'll be more dull and more like natural and realistic colors. we're kind of starting to get his. At least we're getting something that feels kind of workable. I was gonna say it almost looks like him, but it definitely does not look like him yet. But that's okay. There we go. Yeah, so much to fix, but that's the fun part. I'm also, I think it'll be um, Dave. It looks like a guy named Dave. It could be, he could be, his name could be really Dave. I think his name is Peyton. Peyton. But it's no one I know, it's just a guy. You know, I think I'm doing too much dot. I think I need to just kind of, I think I just need to do just more of this kind of thing. Just block stuff in rather than actually go into every little color differentiation right now. Hey, Gabby. Oh, okay, beginner at oil paint. Okay, that's really cool. Of course, this is actually acrylic. So sorry to burst your bubble. This is acrylic, but the same principles apply. Pretty soon here, I'm going to be a beginner oil painter as well, because I'm yet to really try oil. No, this isn't the guy from Foo Fighters. Is that what he looks like? I thought Foo Fighters was a. Maybe I have no clue what I'm talking about. I didn't know anybody from Foo Fighters looked quite like this. Yeah, pretty soon here, I'm going to be a beginner oil painter as well. I would like to do more with that. Really, he looks almost spot on. Maybe, you know what? Maybe we'll make a mid. Maybe we'll make a mid game shift to painting the man from Foo Fighter. I've only done one oil painting, and well, actually that's not true. I've done two, and I don't really like either of them. So I guess that's just my inexperience and I haven't really delved too far into actually trying to learn. But there's an artist I think I would like to take a class with. Maybe I'll learn quite a bit from that, if I ever do it, because he teaches during the day, and I have school usually. So, hey, Adonis. Yes, I don't know when I'll get around to learning oil paint. If anytime soon, I don't know. That's an interesting way to spell Muka. Very interesting way to spell Muka. This doesn't really look like Alphonse Muka either. I should paint more artists. I should do that. You know what? That actually is a good idea, Adonis. Thank you for that idea. I should paint more artists that I respect. Okay. The style is visually similar to oil. The blockiness and the brushstrokes. I guess it's. Yeah. No. It's not. Yeah, it's not bad. It's kind of is an oil approach, but this is just kind of like my go-to for like portrait painting with anything thick. Like when I paint with gouache, I paint a bit differently than this. With watercolor, I paint differently than this, but like with oil and acrylic, it's kind of all this like same sort of thing. Whew. This is a pretty intimidating portrait. I always underestimate. It feels like I always underestimate the portraits and how difficult they'll be. especially as this one is like slow to dry for some reason. So I'm just touching in a lighter value across everything. And I'm still seeing issues with his eyes. Like, that's the big thing that's kind of bugging me out. I think I put his eyes in just like a traditional um like a Loomis position. I don't even know how to explain it, but I think I put him in like a pretty. Here, I'll show you. So in this, his eyes are relatively low. Like, he's kind of low set eyes, I think. And here they look pretty like tall. So we're gonna change that before we get too far in. We're gonna see what we can do. Maybe just that. Maybe just block him out for a second. I feel like I'm missing something with the eyes. The red eye? I think both eyes need to touch up. I think both eyes need to touch up. We're gonna just take that out, and then we'll redo them. And sometimes I'll have difficulty working with such fair skin tones as well. Sometimes they kind of like, I don't know what it is, but I do know what it is. The gradients are very like nuanced and close together. Okay. Let's take. I'm gonna take some darker colors. I'm gonna mix a burnt sienna. Oops, there we go. He looks perfect. There we go. I think this is perfect. Are we done? I think we're finished now. I think that was all that it needed. It was just to get rid of his eyes. Okay. His eyes are also, I should note, they're all on the front. I don't know how to explain it, but I kind of let them blend over onto the side, which doesn't make any sense. Let's actually fix a lot right now. Let's fix a couple things that are going on. A couple issues. One is the nose. The nose should be like almost right up against the mustache, which it was not before. And then there's this really like vibrant. Just put this in real quick. I'm gonna keep drawing throughout this portrait. I'll probably stop every now and again and redraw and fix as we move in the painting. Here we go. There's that. I'm just trying to imagine where the eyes really should go. And I think they kind of fall on this line right here. I think that's where his eyes fall. With my kind of like 30-second thought out placement. And his fold is another prominent feature on his face. The place where his eyebrow fat meets his eyelid is a really prominent line, or a pair of lines, on this guy's face. It looks really messy now, but this is just... Still something is wrong. So I think what the issue is the distance between the eyes is too far now. So if the eyes end like here, or it should end like, to be fair, let me see. Let's just put in another darker value, but not quite as dark. His nose should really end like here. That's kind of the line of his nose, sort of. So if his nose ends there, his eye should really be up, like almost butted up against here. So let's get rid of this too. Okay, let's draw where his eye should really be now. Try to get this right. Because his eyes are relatively, like if you look here, his eyes are relatively close together. His eyes aren't really far. He doesn't have far set eyes. He has kind of close eyes. Okay. This is such a mess right now, but I think that's good. Because we're getting closer to the drawing. Or the true drawing, what it should really look like. We're getting closer. We're not really even, I mean, we are painting, but we're more so drawing right now. Yeah, we're more so drawing. Putting in where lines should be. Removing lines. I'm doing some tonal stuff. Like this right here is going to be a tone I'm going to put in. That's just like a landmark to figure out how the rest of this painting is going to go. There you go. He kind of has a line running down his face, a shadow. Same with right here and right here. There's that. There's this. We're getting closer. And now I think there's an issue with the hair. So let's go back and fix that. Just mixing up a dark value. His hair comes off his face quite a bit more than I'm giving it credit for, which shapes the painting. So we're gonna there we go. Okay, there's a lot of colors going on, which is kind of stressing me out. But we're getting closer to the drawing. And I think I think a logical next step would be to just put in more so the values of the skin rather than the, like, put in like a 4 value kind of situation on the face. We're gonna start off with a mid value. I'm gonna mix up what I think the middle value of his skin is. As accurately as possible. Or just as close as I feel necessary. Here we go. I think his under here is giving us issues as well. This value finds its way in a lot of these places, so it kind of cuts the eye like this. And it finds itself in here, and then along this line a little bit. Like that. And here, and along the line of the neck. Okay, now we can move a tad darker or a tad lighter. I think I want to go a tad lighter. So let's add in some white, and then as it goes wider, it does go a little, looks like it goes a little yellow and then kind of cooler. So maybe, well, let's just keep it as it is. Maybe add in a burnt sienna and maybe a little bit of black to dull it out. And now let's, hopefully this isn't too bright or too dark. Let's see. That is pretty bright. We can take it down a step. Even like a half step would be good. Okay, that's all right. That's fair. Nothing too crazy. So this is a value that's supposed to be lighter than the one we just put down. Okay. Now we're gonna go a step darker than the mid-tone. And in his shadows, he gets kind of warm and like rosy, like. So let's do that. This might be too dark, but we'll see. Oh, that's actually too light. You know what? I don't mind that though. We can kind of work this in to some of these spots in between the mid-tone and the shadow. Okay, I'm gonna go a tad darker now, adding some red. See, and I need to add some red too. I use Naphthol Crimson typically. It's kind of a pinkish red. That was a lot of red. Okay. Let's see what this value looks like on the face. That's still too light. Okay. I'm gonna mix up. I'm gonna go darker than I might think I need, and then we'll see how it looks. Okay, this looks pretty dark, so let's see. It's better, but it's a little cool. So we're gonna end up changing this most likely. I'm noticing now that his mouth is in the wrong position too. So that's gonna be something that'll help us out and help us make it look more like him. His mustache really kind of actually is a lot larger than I'm even showing. For some reason, it actually takes up like almost all of this real estate. It's pretty big. There we go. Okay. There we go. We're starting to see some progress. I think a lot of the shapes are starting to be a little more correct. as it should be, as you move on to the painting. His eyes are still giving me some pause because they feel wrong, but they look about right. When I try to see what's wrong with them, they look like they are in the right spot. So it might just be something like we need to just, when they get filled out more, when they kind of become more finished. We could just do a quick outline. My paintings go through such an ugly phase that it's really discouraging sometimes. I know a lot of people like love to say trust the process, but sometimes it is very, very discouraging if you have like ugly paintings in the beginning. Okay, that looks okay. Oh, it's white in that paint. Okay. His mustache really is nowhere near this dark, so I'm gonna have to go back and fix that as well. It's really more of like a golden brown sort of color. There's a lot of dark in it, but the actual hairs that touch the light are like more of a golden brown. Even his eyebrow hairs are kind of the same way. Okay. I'm gonna give another wash to his shirt. Not a wash, this will be more opaque this time. But I want to give like a feeling of what it's gonna look like at the end. So I'm gonna darken up his shirt. Maybe make it a tad lighter than his hair. There we go. As a little bit of just foreseeing. I want to see what would happen if I kind of put in the color of his eyes right now. Even though we're so early in the painting, and it's not gonna really, it's not gonna be that accurate. So I want to just see what it looks like though. Thanks, K Art. Appreciate it. I want to see what his eyes would look like, what they will look like towards the end. So I'm mixing up a really dull blue. Let's darken that up. Okay, let's see what this is gonna look like. Pretty close. Yeah, that changes a lot, I think. That makes everything a little more... I think that demands us to go a little deeper into the skin tones as well. With eyes like this. Yeah, it's pretty close to the value of his eyes. Maybe a little darker. That's the wrong color. Okay. And I guess for fun, we'll just toss in some white at the eyes real quick. Okay. Another thing I think actually is crucial right now is the lip. I'm gonna put that in, and then I'll probably give it a break for a bit, come back with clean eyes or refreshed eyes, and yeah, be right back at it later. But I want to put in this lip before I go. Let's see. It's a little too pinkish. Okay. I think we're at a good spot. Maybe we should put in his... He is wearing two shirts, and I kind of like that. Even though, like, it's not very easily recognizable thing, I think we should add that in. Give him his second shirt that he's wearing. Go back in his eyes. Yeah, there's still a lot to fix, so we're definitely gonna have to come back through. Maybe redraw some of this as well. But at the very least, we'll be building up values and shifting a lot of stuff around, which is really intimidating, honestly. I'd have to go back in, and especially with such a light skin tone, it's gonna be kind of a game of just, is this lighter, is this darker, for a little bit until we get everything sorted. But overall, I'm happy with how far we've came in an hour. It probably shouldn't take us more than another hour to, or maybe an hour and a half, to bring this thing to finish later on. So yeah, I'm gonna stop there. All right. I'm so thankful for you guys that you watched. If anybody watched this far, really thank you. I'll see you guys later. Thanks, Adonis. Happy New Year's Eve. Thank you. See you guys.